Hello, this is Dany Jones from MetalTalk, and we're here at the London O2 Arena in Greenwich. And we're here for a fantastic triple whammy show with Mammoth WVH, with Halestorm, and of course the mighty Alter Bridge. And I'm here with Flip, aka the coolest guy in the room, aka Scott Phillips from Creed, Alter Bridge, and Projected. How are you doing, Scott?
I'm good. I'm doing great. I'm excited for the show this evening.
I bet, and it's the last of the tour.
It is. It is. It's been a wonderful tour, but a very long tour. So, finishing it tonight here in London. We're actually going to stick around for a few days and watch Mark Tremonti do his Sinatra show, which is on the 15th, and then fly home and try and buy a bunch of Christmas gifts for the family.
Yes, we will all be there on Thursday. Can't wait, actually. Mark Tremonti of Alter Bridge is doing a rendition of Sinatra with the real Sinatra band. So it's a very, very special show.
Yes, all for charity, too. For the, at least in the States, it's the National Down Syndrome Society. It's whatever that charity base is here in the UK, it's all a fundraiser for that, for Down syndrome awareness and funding for the local charity here.
Absolutely. I mean, incredibly, obviously, Mark is an incredible guy, and all you guys as well, and you all fantastically support each other as well. So I have to ask, why do they call you Flip?
I wish there was a really cool story behind that, but there's not. When we first, in starting Creed and touring with Creed, there were two Scotts in the band. So we kind of went by our last names. He went by Stapp, I went by Phillips. And Mark Tremonti and his brother Michael, who was out doing merchandise for us at the time, they had an Uncle Phil that they called Uncle Flip. And somehow my name got turned into Flip. And it just stuck. And so I've been known as Flip ever since, internationally.
And it's an incredibly cool name, isn't it?
I mean, there are some worse names you could have, yeah, for sure.
For sure, absolutely. So we were talking about touring. How is it to be able to tour again?
It's phenomenal. It's been a really, really long time since we were able to get out and tour in any capacity. I mean, it probably almost to the day or within the week, we were here 3 years ago and had one tour that happened in January through the end of February of 2020, and then everybody knows the story from there. Everything shut down. So we had hopes and plans of trying to get back out and tour and support the Walk the Sky album, which was kind of brand new at that time. And it just didn't work out for anybody to really get back out in a safe manner where the bands felt comfortable and fans felt comfortable, gathering in large masses together. So we kind of lost that album cycle. Mark went out and did a Tremonti record. Miles did a solo record and a Slash record. And then 3 years later, finally we get our chance to get back out and do Alter Bridge properly. So we're really excited that we're back out, and especially in such an awesome venue, and getting to wrap up what has been an extremely successful European tour in such a great way.
Excellent, and we are very happy to have you indeed. So this is obviously the promotional tour for your new album, which is the 7th studio album by Alter Bridge, which is Pawns and Kings. Yes. If you don't have it, get it now. Yes. Scott will tell you later where to get it from. What has been your involvement in the writing process?
With this album, with a lot of albums, every idea really starts with Mark or Miles. It's their babies that kind of we help bring to life. With this record in particular, we recorded 12 songs. There are 10 songs on the album. 5 of them were initiated by Miles. 5 of them were initiated by Mark. And we have a joint Dropbox file that everybody can kind of put their ideas in. And Mark had sent me some ideas with some pre-programmed drums on them, and then I kind of went in and put my drums on them, and then put it in the Dropbox file where everybody could kind of get a chance to listen to it and get an idea of how the album's shaping up. And then it's basically the five of us. It's the Forders and Elvis, our producer, that sit in his living room, which is now his studio, for a couple weeks and go through ideas and figure out what works and what doesn't work. There's always some songs that are super easy, where there's hardly any changes from the original idea, and then there's some songs that have take the root idea and completely become something else. And everybody gets their voice in that process, which is I'm certainly thankful for. I know Brian is as well, but at the end of the day, it's really whatever idea that Miles has shooting out of his head or Mark has shooting out of his head is the basis for where the song starts, and then we all just kind of get to add in our own 2 cents along the way.
Amazing. I'm a bass player, so I'm just delighted to find out, and I don't know if you will agree with that, this album is very rhythm section heavy in terms of the rhythm section is quite prominent and to my delight. Yes. Do you agree with that?
I would very much agree with that. Yeah, we've gotten a lot of compliments as a rhythm section with this album. And part of that's due to the writing, the styles of songs that Mark or Miles are coming up with that have a very rhythmic element to them allows us to do whatever we choose to do on top of that. Where an album like Walk the Sky, the last one, which still had a lot of rhythmic stuff going on, but was a little more streamlined. So we've had definitely a chance to shine on this record, and glad that people are taking notice.
Indeed you do. Amazingly. So some time ago you were on Rigged, and you just did a run through of obviously your gear. Mm-hmm. You were saying how much you love the DW brand and Sigen, obviously, in terms of cymbals, and you said that you found a UK manufacturer in terms of the perfect drum stool. Yes. And then you also introduced click track, especially after the performance that you did with a 52-piece orchestra at the Royal Albert Hall, which was pretty spectacular. I was there for both days. So where are you with that?
Well, with the Porter and Davies stuff, to give a shout out to the UK company, that was a drum throne that has basically a thumper, a speaker incorporated in it, where you can, as opposed to having, any drummers out there will probably know what I'm talking about, as opposed to having to put monitors behind you or subs behind you, it's all incorporated in the seat. And you have a small amp that drives it, which helps really cut down on stage volume, but you still get the same effect of having your floor toms or kick drum or bass guitar or whatever you want to put in there. And then as far as using click track stuff, we started, I think it was back in 2013, we started incorporating that just on some of the faster songs that we felt like in a live, adrenaline type moment, where if Mark starts the song or I start the song or whoever, that you kind of get that, sort of racing to the finish, and just knew that wasn't our style. So we've got probably 60% of the songs that we do, even tonight, probably about 60% will have a click track or some type of a tempo map, where we can all lock in together and make sure that nobody's getting ahead of themselves. And then there's 40% that are still off click, that just feel better to be played completely live. Blackbird is one of those songs that we've never done to a click ever, even when we recorded it in the studio initially. It was completely live. It was all off click. So some songs feel better having that control of knowing that everybody's on the same page, and then some are more fun to just kind of, ride the ebbs and flows of the rhythm.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, Blackbird, I was at Rock on the Range when, unfortunately, it was a time of sad passing of Chris Cornell. you guys performed, and we had an extremely choked up Miles that literally couldn't get his words out, and so many other people like Taylor Momsen in tears while she was singing. And it was I feel honored to have been at that performance, and I can absolutely imagine that obviously you would not be able to have a click cracked something like that, because it
just needs to be live. If it's a little faster one night or a little slower one night, or to feel the emotions in it. And that was obviously, that performance with Rock on the Range was for every artist. I mean, Chris Cornell and Soundgarden and Audio Slave or whatever had, I think it inspired and touched so many of us in one way or another. With Miles specifically, he were actually close early on in Miles's career, so that really kind of hit home for him a lot. There were a lot of tears shed the night that we saw the news come up. So yeah, it was a special performance.
So you guys are incredibly busy. I mean, obviously we know that Mark and Miles have their side project, Mark with Tremonti, Miles with Miles / Miles and the Conspirators, and his solo stuff. Tell us about your projects, about
Projected. Yes. The band that has done 3 albums and 40 plus songs, and we've played one 20-minute show ever. And it's music I love. For anybody that doesn't know, it's myself on drums, John Connolly, who is the guitar player in the band Seven Dust, who is doing vocals and guitar on this, Vinny Hornsby, who's the bass player from the band Seven Dust, and then Eric Friedman, who's the guitar player in Tremonti. Got together during a down period when Mark was recording the first Tremonti record. John had a bunch of songs that he had sort of introduced to the Seven Dust camp that ended up not getting used for whatever album that they were working on. And so he talked to me. He was like, "You want to do a record?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So we did the first projected record, which, Christ, I can't even think of the name of it. It's been so long now. Human, that's it. Really, really cool record, and it ended up turning out, I think, way better than maybe any of us had imagined, and decided, rather than it sort of being John's solo project, that this was going to be a band. The problem is that all of us in different bands are so busy all the time that when one of us has a break, the other 3 are working. So we never have a chance to properly go out and tour and support these, what I consider wonderful albums. They're really good. Our second album was a double album. It had 20-something songs on it. And then we just released Hypoxia last summer.
Absolutely badass of a track.
It's really
yeah.
I mean, it's
dig that.
A lot of great songs on there. It's really, really cool, and we just haven't had the time yet to fully support it. But hopefully in the future, fingers crossed, sooner than later, we'll actually get out and support it and perform those songs live.
That was going to be my question, actually. Will you ever tour? And yeah, we definitely need some projected in our lives.
I hope so. I mean, it's a lot of fun to do, and we've all been friends with each other for a really, really long time. So I think touring together would be very easy. So hopefully sooner than later.
Well, we can only hope, right? So you're quite rated as a drummer. A little bird told me. Apparently, you've been nominated amongst the best rock drummers in the world by the Music Radar Awards 2022. How does it feel?
Pretty surreal, and certainly amongst giants in the drumming world. But I'm very honored that we have a lot of very dedicated fans that. I know when the announcement came out with all the nominees that they went and voted for me, which I'm, extremely honored and flattered, and certainly thank everybody for considering me to be a part of that amazing community. And obviously, Taylor Hawkins was sort of near the top of the list. It should have been at the top of the list, and such a great loss. But just the company amongst the other guys that were nominated and won and placed, it's a huge honor.
Well, congratulations indeed. Right, I'm told that we're out of time, so I just want to ask you one final question.
Sure.
Do you understand the expression being drunk under the table?
Being drunk?
So has anybody ever drunk you under the table at a fireball contest? And if so, who is that?
I'm going to say no. I don't think anybody ever has. I'm pretty good with the old fireball. Now, I have a lot of friends that will consume just as much as me. I think my brother might be the only guy that we could go toe-to-toe, and he might last a little bit longer than me. But maybe it's just something in our DNA and our genetics. But I'm pretty good with the old fireball.
He's fireball fueled, hence the drumming. Best rock drummer. Right, well, we need to wrap up, unfortunately, but it's been absolutely amazing having you. Scott Phillips from Alter Bridge, pretty phenomenal bands, phenomenal drummer. I wish you all the best, obviously, for a safe return home. Amazing show tonight, and I shall be very much looking forward to seeing you, as always. But thank you so much for talking to Metal Talk today.
Thank you very much, Sid. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Just